Back again with our second part of our cell notes. So today we're going to talk about some basic structural similarities between cells and then some of the cell pieces or organelles. Okay, so the basic structural similarities between all cells are that there is either a nucleus or a nucleoid region where the DNA is located. Okay, so in our cells, we have eukaryotic cells. Plants have eukaryotic cells. Fungi have eukaryotic cells. There is a central structure called the nucleus where the DNA will be found. In a bacteria cell or prokaryotic cell, you aren't going to have a nucleus with a membrane around it, but you are going to have a central region that's called the nucleoid region, and that's where you're going to find the DNA. The next piece that all cells have in common is they all have cytoplasm inside of them. Okay, so in the prokaryotic cell, it's going to be all throughout there and surrounding that nucleoid region. And in the eukaryotic cell, it's going to be where all of those organelles are found. Okay. Oh, and then the difference between cytosol and cytoplasm is cytoplasm includes the organelles. If you're just speaking of specifically that watery substance, that's called cytosol. So cytosol is the watery substance. Cytoplasm includes the other structures that we'll talk about. And then the third basic similarity is that all cells have ribosomes. Ribosomes are where protein synthesis is going to occur, and bacteria have them, and so do eukaryotic cells. So if you were going to build a cell, these are the basic things that you would have to have in it, and plus a cell membrane. Okay, and that's our number 4. So you would also have to have something that surrounds the cell and holds all of that stuff in. So even prokaryotic cells, bacteria, they have to have that plasma membrane. And that's actually where they're going to do a lot of the things that our cells have organelles to do. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about prokaryotic cells, because out of all of the 6 kingdoms that there are, 2 of them are bacterial kingdoms, so the archaea and the eubacteria, and both of them are prokaryotic cells. These are the simplest organisms, so they are a cell, they are living, but they don't have a nucleus, so they have that nucleoid region inside. They also don't have any organelles except the ribosomes. That's the only piece of material that they have in there besides the cytoplasm. Okay, so they don't have anything that's going to have like the nucleus with its nuclear membrane, or the mitochondria, or the chloroplast, or other structures that you may have heard of. They do, however, have a cell wall that surrounds their cell membrane as a help for structural support. They also have, like I said, ribosomes for making proteins, and they're broken down into 2 groups: the archaea, which are the extreme bacteria, the ones that live in crazy environments like super salty or super hot, things like that. And then you also have the eubacteria, which they live everywhere. They also live in and on us. Okay. So they will have, to help propel them, sometimes they have little cilia or pili, and then they'll also have flagella, which is a whip-like tail structure that helps move them through whatever substance they're in. Okay. Now, when we talk about those cell walls, again, that's outside of the plasma membrane, there is a secondary piece. And this piece, called the cell wall, is composed of a structure, a protein called peptidoglycan. Okay. This is going to help protect the cell and help the cell to maintain its shape, because unlike us, we don't have cell walls. We have bones that help maintain our shape. And it's also going to help a cell prevent excessive uptake of or loss of water. It's not going to control, that still is the cell membrane's job, but it is going to help to regulate that flow. There are 2 different kinds of bacterial cell walls. and we call them gram-positive and gram-negative. And you can see kind of the differences between the two. And if you go to the doctor, they would run a test and they would say, okay, this one is, they would either identify it as a gram-positive or a gram-negative, and that would help them to determine what kind of antibiotics would take care of or kill this bacteria. So you need different kinds because different ones, you can see their structures are completely different. Okay. And then we'll talk about flagella. So flagella you're going to find them in some prokaryotic cells. A flagella is a little motor. And this is kind of an up-close image of what is going on inside that little spinny tail thing. This is a bacteria that has lots and lots of flagella. It's going to help move it through the substances that it's in or through our body fluids, things like that. So some of them will have lots, some of them will only have one, and some of them will have none. And it's this little machine, basically a cellular machine that turns, and it's going to be powered by energy, ATP energy, and it's going to turn and move to propel the organism through the substance. Okay. And then finally we get to eukaryotic cells. Now eukaryotic cells are the type of cells that we have. They're going to, again, be found in fungus, protists, plants, and animals. Okay. The biggest division, or the biggest thing that divides the eukaryotic and the prokaryotic, is eukaryotics have compartments. We call it compartmentalization because they have organelles that have membranes surrounding their organelles, and they have this thing called an endomembrane system. You probably learned in other classes about the endomembrane system as part of like the cell organelles, and that's a fine understanding. Okay. And they also have a cytoskeleton, which is going to help support the cell, because remember, they don't have a cell wall. Okay, so in our next video, we'll start talking about the different cell organelles. Have a great day.